Hey guys, welcome into Plan the Day Own Tomorrow. My name is Gary Thurman, your host. We are Guardian Investment coming to you from in Knoxville, Tennessee. Great week. And thank you, by the way, for listening to our show. We've had a lot of people that listen week after week, and we're getting more and more attention from folks wanting my book or wanting some of the guides that we offer. So we'll be giving that as the show goes on. First of all,
Good. Good morning, Gary.
I feel like we're getting to that time of year. Allergies might start kicking in here shortly.
Yeah. All those other great things.
Yeah. Wash those cars now because they'll stay dirty for the next 2
They'll be
months.
green. They'll be green. But yeah, funny, we're pulling out. And Rhonda said, hey, the tulips are coming up. That's a good sign. I said, that is a good sign. So spring is coming down the path. I know we've had some awful weather here in the South, very cold, but we're coming out of it. So today's show, folks, we're going to cover 4 topics that really are essential to retirement planning. And the Roth conversion and taxes. We need to have every single week. We're talking about income planning. We're talking about health care planning. And then the big is lifestyle. What lifestyle do you want to live in retirement? And how can Guardian Investment Advisors help get you there? Throwing this out there, if you'd like to give us a call, it's 423-710-9199. 710 Chattanooga and in the Knoxville area. So give us a call. Coming again, we're going to throw out some guides and books offers as we go through the show. So, am I paying too much in taxes? Presentation a couple of weeks ago, and I asked the folks that were there, who thinks we're in a high tax bracket? And about 50% of the room raised their hand.
Yeah.
And I think it needs to come back to an education point where we're in the 3rd lowest tax bracket we've ever been in. We don't know how long this is going to last. We're going to talk about that for a few minutes. And right now, if you're living 5 and above, you're in a fair tax window, a good opportunity to be coming in and talking to Tim, Bobby, and Brogan about some possible Roth conversions because the government is giving you some extra tax deductions, and that's what we're going to talk about. So, Bobby, I'm going to why Roth conversions matter right now. I mean, taxes are, let's talk about that. Why does it matter right now?
Yeah.
Why are we so urgent about this?
As you mentioned, taxes are really low right now. You know, it's not going to feel like that come April. You know, nobody feels.
Yeah.
But we really are. Historically, we're in the 3rd lowest income tax bracket we've ever been in the United States.
Yep.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about the mounting debt and the federal deficit that's just growing at an astronomical rate every day. And the only way the government has to pay for that is to raise taxes.
That's right. That's the only source of
So,
income.
You know, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but if we're in the 3rd lowest income tax bracket we've ever been in now, and we've got $38 trillion and climbing to pay off, what's going to happen in the future? Income tax rates have to go up. So right now is your window to make sure you pay as little taxes on your retirement income as you need to.
Let's talk quick. You mentioned $38 trillion, $4 million per minute.
Yeah.
It's running commercials. That's $48 million per segment that our country is going in debt as we're doing this radio show for you guys, which is absolutely crazy to me. Tim, Bobby just gave us some good points, but what's urgent right now that we should be considering Roth conversions?
We're in a very interesting time tax-wise. Yeah, we're at the 3rd lowest tax bracket in U.S. history, but we're seeing it become more and more popular to do temporary tax cuts and temporary decisions that can be made that aren't necessarily permanent. Right now, the most recent tax bill change just became permanent, and we always say permanent till it's not. It could always change by legislation. But what was interesting about this big beautiful bill that passed recently is there were things in there that expire in 2028.
That's right.
And one of the big ones that's out there is the senior tax deduction. If you're over the age of 65, you get an additional $6,000 tax deduction, but that only way after 2028.
Right.
It only lasts for
So we got years.
yeah, which is odd, right? I don't know about odd, but it's interesting. We're seeing a lot of this temporary thing. Overtime, no tax on overtime, no tax on tips. It's temporary.
Yeah.
And so take advantage of it while you can.
Yeah. I was talking to a gentleman yesterday over the phone, and 66, planning on working. He loves his job. He says it's
Awesome.
easy. Going, And so the first thing I said, do you realize we got a 3-year window right now because you're getting that extra deduction? You're still working, so you've got the money to pay some taxes, and all of his money was in IRAs.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, why should I consider that now? And so we had that conversation, Tim, that you just brought up. We got a 3-year guaranteed window to look at doing some part versions anyway.
Yeah.
And Bobby.
Yeah, if you think about it, if nothing changed from your tax situation from 2024, we're about to file for 2025, the government just gave you an extra $12,000 as a deduction, right? How are you going to use that deduction? Are you going to get a bigger refund? I mean, everybody likes getting a refund, but is it more powerful for you in retirement just to maybe take that $12,000 and convert to Roth?
Yep.
You'd be in the same situation you were when you filed your taxes last.
And one of the things we do offer you is a tax guide. If you would like our tax guide, all you have to do is text the word tax guide. I thought do a tax guide. You know what we just created, guys? We just created a Roth conversion guide.
I saw it.
We just conversion guide. So I think
good.
that's even better. So
Awesome.
if you would like to get our Roth conversion guide sent to you digitally, all you have to do is text the word Roth to 423-710-9199. Again, Roth, 423-710. If you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, just in the comments below, put the word Roth. We'll do the same thing. We'll get in touch with you. We'll send that digital form out to you. It's a really explains what are the things that Tim, I'll ask you, are Roth conversions right for everybody?
Not everybody.
Okay.
They're right for a lot of folks right now, and it's starting to make sense for a lot of folks because of the tax bracket that we're in and the potential tax bracket increases we could see. But on occasion we're talking to folks about waiting till they retire, waiting till their income decreases in a few years,
Right.
Waiting till whatever happens to make sense of it. So not everybody, but in a lot of cases we're making it work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and to your point, it may not be right now, but it's something you need to plan for to do when it makes sense, right?
So I know you guys had a client in here recently, and I love giving these stories where very well, tremendous amount of money put back in 401ks, IRAs, money he has not paid taxes on. Let me just throw that out there. But Bobby, you guys ran the numbers through your income lab, and when you showed him what those RMDs were going to be, I mean, it kind of blew him away because when I retire, my tax bracket's going to go down. Maybe not.
See this fairly often is if you've been a really great saver through your working career and you got fairly high balances in this pre-tax accounts, when RMDs kick in, you may have more taxable income in retirement than you did when you were working.
That's
Right?
crazy.
People don't realize that.
Yeah.
And with the market growing the way it has the last couple of years, those balances just keep growing. And so that RMD can get more and more and more as you go through retirement.
Then you're forced in a situation where you have more income than you want, and you've got to pay taxes on it. It's not really an option, right?
Yeah.
And so you're just kind of stuck in a cycle at that point.
Yeah, Tim, tell the folks that's listening or watching out there, what is the difference between what we do, tax planning and filing your taxes? I think we need to make that a strong point. We're not CPAs.
Yeah.
We're not filing your taxes. Tell them the difference between the two, tax planning and filing your taxes.
Yeah, I'm happy not to be a CPA, although I do kind of nerd out on occasion.
Yeah.
CPA is not my forte. We're looking at the big term picture. When you talk with your CPA, usually their goal, and not to throw out a blanket statement, but typically their goal is to lower your taxable income right now.
Right now.
How much can they reduce your tax bill and get you money back in this year, right? We have to look out at the further, longer-term picture and say, over your lifespan, how do I reduce your taxes as a whole?
Yeah.
And sometimes that means paying more taxes right now.
Right. Right.
That's a tough conversation to have and a tough logic to get your head wrapped around. But we make it pretty easy with some of the visualizations and the calculators that we run to kind of walk you through that step by step.
And Bobby, let's do that. Let's finish this segment. Walk someone through. They come in, they're interested in Roth conversion. Tell me step 1, step 2, step 3.
Yeah, the first thing we need to do is kind of put an income plan together for you, right? Where's your income coming from now? What assets do you have? What are the tax classifications of those assets? Pre-tax, post-tax, those sorts of things. And what is it going to look like when the paychecks stop when you retire?
Yeah.
Where's your income going to come from? And then we kind of project that out to age 73, 74, 75 when your RMDs start. And we can kind of estimate what your forced distributions are going to be.
Yeah.
That way we can say, okay, this is how much you're going to have to pay in taxes. So then we can start playing with the numbers and say,
Right.
if we move some of those taxes forward before RMDs take place, can lifetime income tax number lower by paying taxes now instead of in the future? More often than not, that answer is yes.
Yeah.
And it's different for everybody because
Right,
not
right.
everybody has the same income needs, expense needs. Not everybody has the same amount of pre-tax assets. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the process, but the answer is different for everybody.
Yeah, I think our point to this whole first segment is tax planning right now is essential. You're in a window of opportunity to take advantage of that because we know we're going to be in these low tax rates for the next 3 years, counting this year. And if you're 65 and above, you're getting an extra $6,000 per person that you can take advantage of to do more Roth conversions. If you'd like to come in and see the guys, 423-719, again, 423-710-9199. If you would like a guide, text the word Roth, 423-710-9199. Or if you're watching us on social media, the word Roth will do the same thing. And as always, I give out my book, Plan Today, Own Tomorrow. All you have to do is text the word book, 423-710-9199. Again, the word book, 423-710-9199. Bobby, you set us up for our next segment because the thing going on in America right now is making sure we don't run out of money. So taxes are big, but we're when those paychecks go away. We'll be right back. Hi, my name is Gary Thurman, owner and CEO of Guardian Investment Advisors. For years, our team has helped thousands of retirees and pre-retirees build a confident, predictable, and stress-free retirement plan. If you've worked hard for 30, 40 years, you deserve a retirement that works for you, not one filled with uncertainty, rising healthcare costs, or market concerns. At Guardian Investment Advisors, we take a comprehensive approach to retirement. That means we help reliable income plan so you know your paychecks will come from. Navigate Medicare with clarity, making sure you pick the right coverage to avoid costly mistakes. Preparing for long-term care needs with smart planning and protection strategies. Managing your investments with a personalized portfolio tailored to your goals, risk tolerance, and your retirement timeline. Reduce taxes wherever possible with proactive planning so you keep more of your hard-earned savings. You deserve a retirement plan built specifically for you, not a one-size-fits-all approach. Plan your retirement the right way. Connect with us using one of the many options below. Let's get started empowering your retirement right now. Thank you. Hey guys, welcome back to Plan Today, Own Tomorrow. My name is Gary Thurman, your host. Friends Tim McDermott, Bobby Futch, fiduciary advisors here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We also have Brogan Walters up in the Knoxville area. So, segment talking about taxes. If you missed that, give us a call. We'll send it out to you because really right now you need to be considering Roth conversions. A couple of giveaways we're doing today. We're giving you our Roth guide. All you have to do is text the word Roth, 423-710-9199, and we're book Plan Today, Own Tomorrow. All you have to do is text the word book, 423-710-9199, and we'll send it right out to you in digital form, and or we can actually mail it to you, whichever you would prefer. So jumped into that first conversation talking about why Roth conversions, why it matters now. You know, we're 15 minutes total into this show. You know, we've went up debt already. I mean, 4 minute, gentlemen. 4. Our government is going up in debt. And Bobby, you said it earlier, our government has one income source, and it's called taxes. So come in and see the guys here in Chattanooga, Tim and Bobby. Come see Brogan in Knoxville. Let's find out if a Roth conversion is right for you. So 55 and up. This is kind of the magic number. You know, I've been doing this for a long time, gentlemen, but when I start talking about income planning, I 55, 58, 60 need to start considering, hey, I am going to retire within 10 years. You're in the retirement red zone, as we call it. What am I going to do? What am I going to do when I stop working and that biweekly paycheck goes away? How am I going to create an income stream that I can live on, that my wife can live on? And get and taxes don't retire. Inflation and taxes don't retire. So you got to have a big step in making sure your income planning. And Tim, I'm going to start with you on this. why is it so important to start the income planning process earlier than later?
I mean, the earlier you do anything, the better off you usually are,
Sure.
right? I mean, it allows you to plan for it, know what to expect, know what you're looking for at the end of the day. I would say the two big things that we don't see taken into effect, and Gary just mentioned one, is inflation. Inflation and taxes a lot of times are not built into these income plans we see walk in our door, if they have one. And that's crucial. If you look 10, 20 years down the road at what retirement looks like, and you haven't taken into account inflation and taxes, chances are that income plan is going to fail for you. Right?
Yeah, so inflation can erode your purchasing power.
That's
you know, that's the way I look at it. And I'm not worried about it. Have Social Security. I'm going to be good.
Yeah, I hope you're going to have Social Security, right? That's something that's kind of been on the talking points for a long time. I don't think Social Security is going away, but I don't think Social Security is going to be what it is now. Regardless of how it changes, Social Security is going to be a small piece of your income plan,
Sure.
right? You know,
But it's a big piece as well.
it is. I would call it the cornerstone.
Yeah.
right? It's what the income plan is based on. But you really, in order to enjoy your retirement, for 99% of folks, you need income in excess of your Social Security.
Sure.
Right? That's a great social safety net to make sure people never run out of income, but it's not going to keep the lifestyle for almost everybody to get it through retirement what you want. So
Yeah.
it's an important part to plan for, but you really need something in addition to that.
So did you guys know, you know, of course, hey, listen, by the way, we're doing Social Security events all over Knoxville and Chattanooga this year. So make sure you go to our website and check that out. 25% depend on Social Security alone. 25%. That's a pretty big number, Bobby.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I'm glad it's there, right? And that's
Yeah,
really
sure,
what it's for.
yeah.
Is for those folks, for whatever reason, weren't able to save in their working career. But it's going to be a fraction of the income you had
Yeah.
when you were working. The earlier you start planning, the easier it is to make sure that you're not one of those 25%
Sure.
that have to rely on that check.
And so for people to think about market volatility when it comes to income planning, because I think a lot of people come in and they see you guys and they're like, I've got $1 million in my 401k. I'm good. I'm just going to draw money out of that. I mean, is that a big? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I try and make market volatility a non-concern whatsoever when it comes to income. And when I say that, we use our bucket system, right?
Right. Let's go. Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard about this before. If you listen to us on the radio, if it's your first time, we've got a red bucket, a green bucket, and a yellow bucket. They have specific designs. They have specific reasons for what we're doing. The red bucket being money in the market, money that grows with us, money that keeps up with inflation. Our yellow bucket meaning money in the bank. It's there for emergency funds if we need it. And our green bucket being a guaranteed income source that you cannot
Right.
outlive. When we use a strategy like this, that green bucket is set in place to guarantee an income that takes your Social Security, a pension, rental income, and whatever gap is there in between what you need and what you have, and guarantees it for life, so that when you wake up on Wednesday and the market's in a crash or a recession, or we're down by 5% in a
Yeah.
day, which happens now apparently, you're
Yeah.
not having to worry about where that paycheck comes from and how things are appropriately coming to your bank account. Where from a 401k account, you do need to be concerned about that. You need to be concerned about, is the market going to take this away from me?
And
Yeah, we call it sequence of return risk, and it matters what returns happen earlier in your retirement if you're relying on a market account only for income. I think it would surprise people to learn how much money you actually have to be able to sleep well at night knowing your income plan, has very low potential of failure if you're pulling all your
Yeah.
retirement money
Yeah.
out of a market account. It's got to be a pretty big number.
Yeah.
We met with a lady just yesterday, almost $2 million. She's done really, really well for herself, right? Well, we said, here's a green bucket of money. Here's how we can make sure that you don't outlive that income. We can guarantee this money you can spend for the rest of your life. And $1.8 million is a lot of money.
yeah, sure.
But it made a lot of sense for her. And she's like, man, I love that. I can sleep at night not having to worry about her income changing or going away in a market crash or a
Yeah.
bear market.
And she's got an adopted young daughter too. I mean, that's
She does.
huge for her.
She's well into retirement age, and she does have a young daughter at home, so that's even more important, right?
She's been working hard to make sure she's doing the right things along the way. And, you don't know what you don't know. She went into her bank one day, and there's a guy that sits in the corner that does finances, and
Yeah.
she talked to him, and that's where she was. And that guy, she said, I want to be really conservative. I can't afford to take losses in this account. And he had put her over half of her account was sitting in bonds, some of them international bonds.
Okay.
And when I showed her what the actual returns had looked like over the last 5-10 years
Wow.
and the type of yield she was returning, it was a no-brainer for her.
Yeah.
And she said it that way.
A fixed income annuity was crushing the rates she was
Oh, I
getting
bet.
in her current portfolio.
That's so exciting to me, guys. Tim, another thing I think, you brought up inflation. We got to think about that. Future taxes when it comes to income planning. We got to think about that. What about the future cost of healthcare? How big is that when it comes to when you're sitting down with someone and you're creating an income plan?
Yeah. Healthcare has been one of the highest inflated programs over the last decade in the United States. It's gotten exponentially more expensive, and I don't see that slowing down anytime soon.
Me either. No.
If that trend kind of continues, typical inflation rates are not going to keep up with what it's going to cost you to take care of
Sure.
of healthcare. We've thrown this stat out several times. I think it's $170,000 is what a healthy 65-year-old
Healthy 65. And that'll probably go up this year.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
they'll need for healthcare, just for copays and prescription drugs and things like that. It doesn't even include long-term care. The average stay of a long-term care for a male, I believe, is 2.5 years.
Yeah.
For females, it's a little over 3.5 years.
Yeah.
And so at $10,000 a month for that private room, that racks up really quick. And if you're leaving a spouse at home while you're spending down all that cash, you could put them in a position where they can't afford to live the rest of their life.
Yeah, and we're going to dig more into healthcare in our next segment and talk about some Medicare as well. Bobby, let's close with this. The greatest risk of all is longevity risk. Do you know in 1935 when Social Security started, the average life expectancy was right at 60? Now here we 26, it's all the way up to the mid-80s. But we're seeing people live to mid-90s easily. Income planning is essential.
It is, and longevity is a great thing, right? This is something we talk about a lot. I love that people are living longer, they're living healthy longer, but there's also the opportunity there to live longer sick. Right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's the other edge to that sword, right? The two-edged sword. So you really have to make sure you have a plan. God forbid you get sick, but continue to live, right? And you want to do that in a way that has dignity, right? You want to be able to keep yourself comfortable. Make sure you're not leaving a spouse at home that's in a tight spot because you're having to spend a lot of money to do this.
There's a lot of
And
money,
it's,
gentlemen.
It's real. We're seeing people all the time where, God forbid, they're either retire and then immediately get sick.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of clients over the last handful of years that God forbid, that happened to them, unfortunately. That's a long time.
Sure.
Those elevated expenses.
It sure is. So, the earlier you start, the better you're going to be. Tim talked about the difference between guaranteed income and portfolio income, and I really like that. Something for you guys to consider. And it's one of the things that we offer for you. You can come in and see the guys, absolutely complimentary. Let's look at your plan. Let's start plan together for you now. So when those paychecks go away, folks, you don't have to stress out. You don't have to stress out if the market goes up and down. By the back from this commercial break, we're going to be another $60 million in debt.
Somebody
Guys,
credit
it's
card.
just insane to me how much debt our country is accruing right now. So a couple giveaways today. If you'd like our Roth guide, text the word Roth. 410-9199. Again, text the word Roth or comment below if you're watching us on social media, the word Roth. 423-710-9199. And if you'd like a copy of my book, absolutely free, plan today, own tomorrow, text the word book. 423-710-9199. We'll send it out to you in digital form. We'll send it out to you by mail, whatever you prefer. So a couple get Roth guide and my book. Text the word Roth, 423-710-9199, or text the word book, 9199. We talked about Roth conversions, gentlemen. We talked about income planning. We're going to get into something that I think on retirement. Health care, it's a silent retirement killer. You don't want to miss the next segment.
Hi, my name is Gary and CEO of Guardian Investment Advisors. For years, our team has helped thousands of retirees and pre-retirees build a confident, predictable, and stress-free retirement plan. If you've worked hard for 30, 40 years, you deserve a retirement that works for you, not one filled with uncertainty, rising healthcare costs, or market concerns. At Guardian Investment Advisors, we take a comprehensive approach to retirement. That means we help you with building a reliable income plan so you know exactly where your paychecks will come from. Navigate Medicare with clarity, making sure you pick the right coverage to avoid costly mistakes. Preparing for long-term care needs with smart planning and protection strategies. Managing your investments with a personalized portfolio tailored to your goals, risk tolerance, and your retirement timeline. Reduce taxes wherever possible with proactive so you keep more of your hard-earned savings. You deserve a retirement plan built specifically for you, not a one-size-fits-all approach. Plan your retirement the right way. Call us today or connect with us using one of the many options below. Let's get started empowering your retirement right now. Thank you.
Welcome back to Plan the Day, Own Tomorrow. Gary Thurman, your host and CEO of Guardian Investment Advisors, in here with Tim McDermott. Our $1 million more in debt on the first two segments of the show.
It's incredible.
Rack that credit card up.
Okay. Taxes. So we're having a fun show today. We're talking about some essential things when it comes to retirement planning. We started the show talking about Roth conversions, and while right now you've got a great window of opportunity to do Roth conversions, especially if you're 65 and above, because the government is giving you an extra $6,000 credit on your taxes for the next 3 years. So it's something that I would encourage you. Come in and see the guys. See Bobby, Tim here in Chattanooga. Go see Brogan in Knoxville. Give us a call, 423-710-9199. We did offer our Roth guide. If you'd like to get that in digital form, text the word Roth, 423-710-9199, and we'll get it right out to you. And as always, we'll give away my book, Plan the Day, Own Tomorrow. Absolutely. Word book, 423-710-9199. We kind of jumped into this, a little bit. We're talking about income. Healthcare is one of the highest inflated programs we have, gentlemen, and I think a lot of people just kind of overlook it. But I want to throw a stat out there, and I hope everybody can listen or watch us as I say this. I started in this business 30 years ago, 3 decades, gentlemen, selling long-term care insurance. At that time, 30 Americans were going to need some type of long-term care. Longevity risk on the last segment. Now, that 33% has increased to 70%. So 70% of us are going to need some type of long-term care. And then, are you on the right Medicare plan? You know what? We've got a Medicare expert here in the office, Tanner Moore. If you'd like to get a review or like to have a conversation with Tanner about Medicare, just call 423-710-9199. It's absolutely complimentary. He can do a phone call, Zoom call, or see you in person and make sure you're on the right Medicare plan. So let's go. Start with you. Traditional long-term care insurance often is what?
Ineffective, underutilized, not relevant.
Too expensive.
That's true.
Yeah.
It gets expensive is relative, right? If you're going down to buy
I'm with you.
a quality car,
I'm
you're
with you.
willing to pay more for it because it's going to last you a while and you're going to get the value out of it. And so a lot of people view traditional long-term care as expensive because they end up paying $3,500, $4,000 a year into these plans, and they don't use them for 10, 20, 30 years,
Right.
maybe never.
Maybe never.
All along that way, that company is probably reaching back out to you, asking for premium increases
Mm-hmm.
to reduce your benefits, or they'll buy you out of the program
Right.
itself. And then if everything goes the way we all want it to, and we pass away in our sleep in our bed,
That's great.
then we never have to use it, but no one ever sees that money again.
Or lose it kind of thing.
That's right. That's exactly right.
That's kind of hard.
And here's the other kicker to traditional long-term care plans. These are traditionally set up as reimbursement plans, really.
Mhm.
You go into a facility, you hire in-care help, and you pay that bill out of your own checking account. Then you submit that bill over to the insurance company. The insurance company goes through it and says, this is what's reasonable, this is what's necessary, we're not going to pay for these things, and they reimburse you for what they want to, basically.
What they want to.
That's right.
If it's approved.
That's right.
I've seen a lot of horror stories in my 3 decades in doing this where long-term care insurance did not pay. And it's been a very hard thing for some of these families to understand that. And another thing I want to talk about, gentlemen, really quick, a lot of the long-term care traditional long-term care policies, you have to be in a home. Now, not all of them, but a lot of them, you're required to actually be in some type of assisted living and or nursing home. If you get sick at home, you might not be covered, Bobby. So if somebody walks into our office, Bobby, you got it, let's keep it. Maybe you'd reduce it a little bit or change the benefits a little bit to save them some premiums. But if they've got it, most likely they're going to keep it unless we have some other great planning to do for them. But is that the case most of the time?
Yeah, most of the time that's the case because especially if you had it for a long time.
Correct.
Right, you're not going to be able to replace a traditional long-term care insurance policy. If you can at all, it's going to be completely unreasonable.
Yeah.
But you've already had so much money paid into these policies, it's hard to
Thousands
get it
and
back.
thousands and thousands of dollars.
And they'll offer you a buyout.
Oh, yeah.
But
pennies on the dollar.
the insurance company likes that buyout amount much more than you do.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Sure.
So if you've got it, let's review it. Let's see actually what it covers,
Sure.
how it works, and you'll likely keep that. We just want to make sure that it's part of your retirement budget because those premiums are probably going to go up year after year.
No, 100%.
And then we're going to immediately pivot and look at another, what I call a more modern solution.
So let's talk about some hybrids. Bobby, I'll just start with you since you brought up some long-term care planning.
Yeah, these insurance companies that offer these fixed income, fixed indexed annuities that provide a guaranteed income have started putting really cool riders on these. And a lot of them now are looking like, listen, if you fail 2 of your 6 activities of daily living, right, you just have a note signed by your doctor, and these insurance companies will double the guaranteed income they're giving you up to 5 years.
Yeah.
It's not care insurance,
No.
right? In these particular programs, there's no medical underwriting.
Right.
So that's a great bonus. But if doctor signs off on it, they'll double that income, and you can spend it on whatever you need to spend it on.
Sure.
Bringing somebody at home, putting a ramp on the house, redoing the bathroom, pay for medicines and all these sorts of things. But it's cash to you, Gary, right? You mentioned earlier that, you have to pay the bill, submit it to the insurance company. They decide whether or not
Yeah,
they want to pay you
yeah.
back. They drop this money in your checking account.
Yeah, that's it.
No
Comes
questions asked.
directly to you.
As long as your doctor signs off on it, the check's going to show up.
I love that. So our fixed index annuities with income riders now have what we call impairment riders attached,
right.
which is really, really neat. So Tim, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about some of these companies that are doing more asset-based long-term care. We got client comes in, they got X amount of dollars just sitting in the bank or a brokerage account. It's just doing nothing for them. They've got it sitting there just in case they get sick. And you're working with you can use that scenario, but talk about the benefit of how we could do asset-based long-term care planning.
Yeah, you read my mind. We had a guy walk in yesterday, and him and his wife were concerned about some long-term care aspects of things. He had come out to one of our workshops and heard us talk a little bit about it, and he goes, "I've never heard that before. Can you tell me how it works?" And, I kind of opened that conversation with, there's 101 different ways that we can do this. This is where working with a fiduciary planner makes the most sense. We could have simply brought up an illustration, walked him through it, and said, "Do you like that?" Or, "Does that make sense for you?" And that traditionally just doesn't work.
Right. Yeah.
The guy said, "I'm using 3 other planners right now." And so my first question is why?
Yeah, sure.
And for him, I think he was trying to kind of feel things out. He had worked his whole life, didn't pay a whole lot of attention to what was going on, just stuffing money away, cash away, and trying to get ready for retirement. But when he retired, he said, "Man, I really dug in. I really wanted to understand this." And what I found is that the guy I was using wasn't really doing everything that I wanted.
Wow.
So he started branching out to other advisors to see what he could get from them.
Yeah.
And at the end of the conversation, I really said, "Listen, this is what I'd like to do for you. It doesn't make sense for me just to run a bunch of illustrations and say which one fits. I really need to dig in a little bit deeper to understand your full situation so that I can truly make the right recommendation."
Sure.
A lot of these long-term care plans that we're using in today's world matter if it's qualified money or if it's non-qualified.
Right.
It matters if there's an age gap between you and the spouse. It matters if one of you has some health conditions and maybe can't qualify for certain things. There are underwriting on some of these policies. There's not underwriting on some of them. And so we took a step back and talked a little bit in further detail about the bigger picture.
Right.
And it helped me get a better understanding of what he was doing and then guided me in the right direction on what to recommend to him.
Isn't that awesome, guys? I mean, isn't that cool that we're an independent financial planning firm and we have choices to fill that gap of that client you're talking about, Tim. We're not just going to stick them in one plan, everybody in one plan. You looked at the whole situation you're able to evaluate that and then go out, okay, we've got this company that fits your situation perfectly. Do you guys agree with that?
The cool thing about that solution is what we found to present to him was really solved more issues than that, right? We got to guarantee him an additional income, right? He's got plans to go spend a lot of time in Europe. So I said, I need to make sure that happens. But we'll be able to put one of those riders on it, you know, the impairment riders. So now it is also a long-term care coverage and then an asset-backed solution. And they had some money sitting in the bank. They were able to take it from a savings account, put it in another asset-based long-term care plan, and leverage that asset. And even if he doesn't use it, it's going to grow at a better rate than what was at the bank.
Yeah, and it just goes to his beneficiaries if you don't use it, right?
This is kind of like one of those. If you ever have look in your kitchen drawers when you get home, right? You probably have 110 different gadgets in there.
Sure.
Right? If you ever have one kitchen gadget that only does one job, throw it out. That's what every professional. Right. If you have that avocado, slicer and, and peeler and throw it out. Right. It only does one job for you, and you could have a tool that doesn't take up space that does multiple jobs for you. That's what we're talking about here.
Sure.
Bobby's saying, hey, look, we're able to help it, guarantee an income, but we also have long-term care. It's also a risk protection tool, and so it does multiple jobs for you. It's not there just for one purpose.
You filled a retirement gap.
That's right.
You filled a retirement need, and that's what we do here at Guardian Investment Advisors. And I'm going to close with this. Medicare planning, long-term care planning is essential, guys. You got to plan for it in retirement because we are living longer, but you need to be on the right Medicare plan because one bad choice could cost you thousands of dollars. I'd invite you to reach out to Tanner Moore, 423-710-9199. Have a Zoom call, have a phone call, have an in-person meeting with Tanner. If you're 5, the sooner you start, the better on this planning. If you're already on Medicare, still calling. Let him review what you've got and see if there's a better solution. Again, 423-710-9199. I'll talk about all the things we talked about today. Roth conversions, taxes. I'll talk about income planning, and I'll talk about healthcare in my book, Plan Today on Tomorrow. If you'd like a free copy of my book, all you have to do is text the word book, 423-710-9199. Again, text the word book, 410-9199. When we come back, we're going to talk about one of my favorite things. How do you want to spend time in retirement? What kind of lifestyle do you want? Do you want to travel to Europe like the gentleman Bobby just talked about? Do you want to hang out with your grandkids? That's what we do here at Guardian Investment Advisors, and we're going to dig into the lifestyle planning when we come back.
Hi, my name is Gary Thurman, owner of Guardian Investment Advisors. For years, our team has helped thousands of retirees and pre-retirees build a confident, predictable, and stress-free retirement plan. If you've worked hard for 30, 40 years, you deserve a retirement that works for you, not one filled with uncertainty, rising healthcare costs, or market concerns. At Guardian Investment Advisors, we take a comprehensive approach to retirement. That means we help you with building a reliable income plan so you know exactly where your paychecks will come from. Navigate Medicare with clarity, making sure you pick the right coverage to avoid costly mistakes. Preparing for long-term care needs with smart planning and protection strategies. Managing your investments with a personalized portfolio tailored to your goals, risk tolerance, and your retirement timeline. Reduce taxes wherever possible with proactive planning so you keep more of your hard-earned savings. You deserve a retirement plan built specifically for you, not a one-size-fits-all approach. Plan your retirement the right way. Call us today or connect with us using one of the many options below. Let's get started empowering your retirement right now. Thank you.
Hey guys, welcome back to Plan Today on Tomorrow. Gary Thurman, your host. Glad you guys are joining us today. Hey, if you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook, thank you. We appreciate that. All the things we're giving away, when I say text, all you have to do is comment below the same word. We'll get the Roth conversion booklet right out to you, or we can send you my book, Plan Today on Tomorrow. Just comment below taxes or comment below book, and we'll send that out to you. Radio in Chattanooga and our Knoxville, Tennessee. Our phone number, 423-710-9199. You can text to that same number. We'll send you out my book, or you can text the word Roth to that same number, and we'll send you out the Roth guide. Next segment, because retirement plan is actually 3 when we look at it, and without a plan, a real lifestyle is at risk. happens, death, divorce. Gosh, if we have another national, flood. I mean, there are all kinds of different things can happen while we're retirement guys. So I think it's so important to have some key talking points for folks when it comes to those three phases in retirement life. And Tim, I'll start with you on this. My favorite thing to talk about in lifestyle planning is your go-go years. What are the go-go years?
Go. That's where we want you to go. We want you to go do, have fun, enjoy. We have clients who we have clients right now who sold their house, bought an RV, and that's all they do is travel the United States in their RV.
Yeah, they're having a blast too.
We have clients that'll go spend 3 or 4 months in Spain every single
Yeah,
year.
sure.
We have clients that want to go see Italy and China and every other country in this world and see what it's all about. I have some clients who just run around and see all their grandkids all the time.
That's right. Yeah.
Go do, right? That's the point, is funnel or plan or design your plan to have an extra income for a certain number of years to help take care of some of those extra expenses
Sure.
like travel and gifts and eating out and enjoying
Having
everything.
fun. I
Yep.
mean, you've worked 30, 35, 40 years. It's time to go, right? And Bobby, I don't want to leave this yet because I feel those years are going to be a little more expensive because, one, you're healthier mentally and physically, so you can do the go. It's going to be a little more expensive, right? So maybe you do a plan where they get a little bit more money in those go years.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's fairly easy to do. You know, this is my favorite part of our job when we sit down and talk with people is what does retirement? What do you want it to look like? Like, tell us about what you want to do. Tell us about the RV, the grandkids. You know, those kind of expensive hobbies you want to have. You want to play 7 rounds of golf a week for the
Hey,
next 3
yeah.
years, right? That's
No.
not inexpensive.
I'm going to play a lot, but not that much. Yeah.
Another side to that, though, and I feel like it's becoming more and more popular right now. Go years doesn't mean you have to go out and spend money. It might mean that you take on that part-time job because you feel like you've got more to give back to
That's right.
to the world, right?
Yeah.
And we're seeing that become more and more popular. People don't want to stop working, but they don't want that 9 to 5,
Grind.
40-hour a
Grind.
week job or the high stress,
Yeah.
CEO job,
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. So they quit and they go work as a starter at the golf course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or they consult for the business that they were with, right?
or donate your time to a nonprofit,
That's right.
right?
Yeah, one of my favorite stories is a client of mine. I've had him for years, and at 70, they pretty much forced him to retire. Now, he was not happy, and this is one of the most persons I've ever met in my life. So he now is the greeter at Lexus
Yeah, awesome.
because he loves it. He'll drive people to the airport. He'll do whatever,
yeah.
But he is loving life. And what's cool about that? He's not for him.
And that's kind of my point to the other
That's
side. of
incredible.
things. It doesn't have to cost money.
No,
It might-
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Which,
It does cost you money. It's something we certainly need to plan for.
Agreed.
Right. And I think
absolutely. And the earlier the better. So let's talk about slow go years, gentlemen. All right, so let's call this 75-ish, somewhere in there. Based on your health and everything else, you're going to slow down. You're not going to travel so much. We got to start thinking about future healthcare costs in this slow go year. So, Bobby, I'll start with you. This is a phase of retirement planning.
It is, and this is part of what this kind of mixes into the segment we had in segment 3 is this is where you can rest well at night knowing that you've got the right Medicare plan.
That's right.
Your medical insurance is covered, the costs are controlled, and you have that long-term care plan in place. God forbid you need it, right?
Yeah.
This is where you kind of slow down, and generally you're going to spend a little less as long as your health is kind of in check and taken care of there
Sure.
than the go-go years. And so maybe your plan says, okay, we've spent, a lot of money in our go-go years. It's planned. That's okay. There's no risk of running out of money, but it just kind of slows down.
Yeah.
And the important part here is, even if you physically can't do like you used to, you got to make sure you're doing things to stay mentally sharp.
Yeah.
Right. And again, that could look like, a part-time job, or volunteering 1 or 2 days a week, go to the church, go to the food bank, do something like that. Babysit your grandkids.
Yeah.
But it's a design thing where you slow down, you spend a little bit less money by design, but stay sharp and find something to do.
Something else I'm seeing, gentlemen, and I don't know if you guys have witnessed this here with some clients, is some of the clients that, we're seeing up in Knoxville, people in retirement as hey, it's time for me to get a little more healthy. I'm absolutely blown away by how many conversations I've had with folks. Now, I'm not saying they're unhealthy, but I think, hey, I've got more time. I've got more time on my side where I can actually take care of me. Have y'all seen any of that here with some of the clients here in Chattanooga?
If you drive down Stanford Gap, I don't know, around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon each day, there's a lady that jogs.
track?
She is having herself a great time. I love to see it, right? She looks like she may be, closer to retirement years.
Yeah.
But she's jogging, she's skipping, she's jumping around, she's doing everything she can to her walk and to kind of make more out of it.
Yeah.
I think you'll see more and more of it right now.
You just got to move. You just got to move. I think it helps you physically and mentally if you move. I got called Retire Strong. It hopefully will be out by March. We're that done, but we'll let you guys know when that book comes out. Retire Strong. It's all about your wealth and your health, making sure that you just live the best retirement you can with your wealth, working with these guys, and with your health, just taking some simple advice and lifestyle changes. All right. No-go years. And Bobby, I'll start with you on this one. I mean, a lot of things are starting to happen now. We're much older. That longevity risk is really kicking in now. We're more focused on care, maybe income predictability, some different things like that. Slow go. We go, slow go. Now we're in the no-go years.
Yeah, this is where your medical and long-term care planning, pays literal and figurative dividends.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I hope you never need it, right? And to Tim's point, you pass away in your sleep when you're 100 years old. That's what we all want. But to plan for that is probably a little irresponsible. So being able to plan for these, this is the one where, income needs can come out of nowhere, come quick.
Yeah.
Like we said, even having somebody come to the house 1 or 2 days a week, it's not inexpensive, right? And if you're having to pay for that from other budget items, that can make the income plan and your budget really tight in retirement.
Sure.
So this is where we do what I think is our planning that may be the most important. Make sure that you can age with dignity. You can age the way you want, right? You're not forced to make decisions because of money. You're able to make decisions because that's what you really want to have happen.
And Tim, this is big too for that legacy planning portion, right? If you don't spend all your money, where's it going?
Yeah, probably to your children or charities that you've chosen to go down to, maybe nephews, nieces,
right.
Whatever you've chosen to do. We want that money to go to who you want it to go to instead of being blown through for medical purposes. And this is where we come back to like long-term care planning. If you're having to spend money out of pocket to put your husband or your wife into a facility and all of a sudden you now have this massive extra expense, it really doesn't replace much of any expense. Yeah, maybe they're not eating, 2 people at home anymore, but the mortgage payment, the car payment, the insurance, the electricity, all that's really about the same, right? And so now you're tacked on with this massive bill and it eats through the cash that's there. And over several years, that could, make it hard for you to afford to continue to live by yourself at home.
And that's why I think income planning is so essential. And the earlier you can start, the better. If you can do some planning, tax planning, and get some of those taxable dollars converted over to Roth, where you can have that tax-free income, that's going to be good for you, your spouse. It's also going to be good for that legacy benefit that Tim was just talking about. Folks, retirement isn't easy, and I say this all the time. You got one shot at retirement. You need to make sure you do it right. Income is the outcome. So you need to start thinking about these tax planning strategies that we talked about earlier today. You need to start thinking about some income planning because it's going to be essential to have that lifestyle that you want in retirement. You need to think about health care, Medicare planning, long-term care planning, and then to finish that up, what kind of life do you want to live? What kind of legacy do you want to leave? What is the most important things that you're focused on today and that you want your retirement to look at? That's what we do here at Guardian Investment Advisors. And guess what? It's complimentary. You come to see Tim and Bobby here in Chattanooga. You come in to see Brogan up in Knoxville. We're going to sit down with you. One thing we do well is we listen. And we're going to put that's going to meet the lifestyle goals that you have. We're going to talk about all the things we just talked about with income planning, Roth conversions, healthcare planning. And we're going to put a plan together for you that you simply will understand, will keep it simple, and we're always here to help when those things happen in life, when changes happen. We're here to help you in any way we can. So we're giving a few things away today. Our Roth guide, all you have to do is text the word Roth, 423-710-9199. I'll say that one more time. Text the word Roth, 423-710-9199. If you'd like a copy of my book, Plan Today, Own Tomorrow, Same phone number, 423-710-9199. Text the word book, 423-710-9199. And hey, feel free to call. Come in and see the guys. Like I said, it's absolutely complimentary. They're going to have a great conversation with you guys. Make sure that you're set up right. We've got some incredible software to show you exactly how you're set right now. And then the guys are going to use our bucket strategy to see how we can help you get things more simple so that you can go into retirement and have that lifestyle you want. Guys, great show today.
It was good.
Cheers.
Enjoyed it.
Good show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back next week with more Plan Today, Own Tomorrow. Take care, guys.